The facts in this case take a little unravelling. We start with Edward James, who had a business where he purchased empty retail space, found tenants, and then sold the retail space at a profit because it now had secure rental income. He purchased a vacant shop in Sussex, then leased that shop for 21 years to a company called Summers & Sons. That company had been incorporated in 1928, but had been dormant and not trading for many years. It had recently been purchased by two brothers who planned to resume business as wool merchants. On the other side, we have Anne Gross, who asked Grace Rymer Investments to find commercial premises for her to purchase as an investment. Grace Rymer's very honourable policy was never to bring an investment to a client if they would not invest in it themselves. Edward James suggested this property to Grace Rymer, who thought that it might suit Anne Gross. They asked for references for the company and received reassuring references from Midlands Bank. Midlands Bank, however, had no idea whether the references were true or not. They were just repeating what Edward James told them, and the letter falsely suggested this was a sound company which had been trading since 1928. Grace Rymer purchased the shop, then sold it on to Mrs. Gross for a modest premium. Shortly afterwards, Summers & Sons, the wool merchants, went broke. Gross sued Edward James's companies for fraudulent misrepresentation. She lost, but even if she had won, the remedy for fraudulent misrepresentation would be rescission, the right to set aside the contract. This is an equitable remedy. The court found, however, that the remedy was not available to her because equity acts in personam. It provides a personal, not a proprietary remedy. So the misrepresentation, if there was one, was from Edward James the seller to Grace Rymer the first buyer. Anne Gross didn't buy from James, so she had no contract with him to rescind. Lord Justice Cross said, "The right to rescind for misrepresentation does not run with the land. If A induces B to buy land by means of fraudulent misrepresentations, and B in turn sells the land to C, whether for a higher or a lower price, then C has no right to rescind as against A." This case confirms that equitable remedies are personal remedies, binding the consciences of the parties against one another.